Welcome to this Angular Pivot Table tutorial. In this video, I will show you how to add, remove, filter, and sort field members using the grouping bar UI in the Syncfusion Angular Pivot Table component. You will see how to rearrange the fields between axes and modify the aggregation type. You will also see how to enable the Fields panel and customize the grouping bars. First, I open an existing Angular application that has the pivot table component already added to it with a list of data retrieved from a pivot data source. If you want to learn how to get started with the Angular Pivot Table component, refer to the video linked in the card above. I run the application using the command ng-serve. You can see the pivot table is rendered with the defined data source. Now let's see how to enable the grouping bar in the pivot table. To do that, I set the Show Grouping Bar property to true. To access this, I need to import the grouping bar service module from the Angular Pivot View package and add it inside the Providers section. You can see the pivot table displays the grouping bars of the fields that are bound to rows, columns, and values axes. Using these grouping bars, I can filter and sort the field members and remove and rearrange the fields between axes. First, I sort the members of the country field in descending order. Then I filter the members of the products field by clicking the field's filter icon. A dialog opens with a list of the members in the field. Here you can search the products using the text box. I remove the road bikes member and click OK. The pivot table refreshes and displays the mountain bikes and touring bikes in the products field. To rearrange the fields between axes, you can just drag and drop them. Here I drag the country field and drop it into the filter axis. If I want to remove any field from the current report, I can use the remove icon. You can also modify the aggregation type for the value fields using these value type icons dynamically. Let me modify the aggregation type of the sold amount field by clicking the value type icon. A drop-down opens with a list of 7 aggregation types. The remaining types will be shown as I click the More option. A pop-up opens listing all the aggregation types. I can choose the desired type here. To calculate the average sales amount, I select the average type. I also change the field caption to sales amount. You can see the grouping bar of the sold amount field has been updated to average sales amount, and the pivot table has been refreshed, displaying the average sales amount. Also, the caption is changed to sales amount. The grouping bar also enables the Fields panel in the pivot table. The Fields panel displays the fields that are available in the data source but not bound to the current report. To demonstrate this, I define the public variable grouping bar settings with the grouping bar settings type, which is automatically imported from the Syncfusion Angular Pivot View package. Then I set the Show Fields panel property to true in the grouping bar settings. And assign this grouping bar settings value to the grouping bar settings property of the pivot table. The Fields panel displays the Units field, which is not bound to the report. I can add this Units field to any axis on the pivot table dynamically by dragging and dropping it. I add it to the Rows axis. See the Rows axis updates with the Units field. Likewise, any field that is removed from the current report will be automatically added to the Fields panel. For example, I remove the Products field from the Row axis. Notice that it has been added to the Fields panel. That concludes our tour of the UI interactions that can be performed using the grouping bar option. Next, let's see how to customize these interactive options at the code level. Notice there's a filter settings property for the year field, and the pivot table displays the filtered data. If I want to prevent filtering in the year field dynamically on the UI, I can remove the filter icon from the year field grouping bar. To do this, I set the show filter icon property to false in the year field of the columns axis. The filtering option is now disabled for the year field. If I want to disable the filtering option for all the fields, I can disable the show filter icon property in the grouping bar settings. Looking at the table, you can see the filtering is disabled for all fields. Similarly, if you want to prevent sorting a field dynamically, you can disable the sorting option. To disable sorting for the country field, I set the show sort icon property to false in the country field of the rows axis. You can see the sorting option is now disabled for the country field. To disable sorting for all fields, simply disable the show sort icon property in the grouping bar settings. If I don't want users to be able to remove a specific field from the report dynamically, I can disable the remove option by disabling the show remove icon property in the respective field. I'll demonstrate this with a quarter field in the columns axis. Now the quarter field cannot be removed from the report. You can also disable the remove icon for all fields by disabling the same property in the grouping bar settings. Next, let's see how to disable the drag and drop option for a specific field. I'll turn off drag and drop for the products field by defining the allow drag and drop property as false in the rows axis. Drag and drop is thus disabled for the products field. You can disable it for all fields by disabling the allow drag and drop property inside the grouping bar settings. By default, the value type drop-down displays all aggregation types in the More option. If you want to customize the list of aggregation types, use the aggregate types property. To demonstrate, I define a public variable aggregate types option with the array type aggregate types, which is automatically imported from the Syncfusion Angular Pivot Table package. Next, I assign the list of desired aggregation types distinct count, average, and product to the aggregate types option. Then I assign this list variable to the aggregate types property. You can see the value drop-down has only 3 defined list items now. If I want to hide the aggregation type and display only the field name, I set the show aggregation on value field property to false in the data source settings. Now the bars of value fields display only the field name. If you have set the aggregation type for the value field in the code and you do not want to modify it dynamically, disable the show value type icon property. For this example, I disable the value type drop-down for the units sold field by defining the property show value type icon as false in the values axis. Now there is no option for modifying the aggregation type for the units sold field. You can disable this property inside the grouping bar settings to disable the aggregate selection type for all value fields. In this video, I have shown you how to filter, sort, remove, and rearrange fields using the grouping bar option in the pivot table. I have also shown you how to modify the aggregation type, enable the fields panel, and customize the interactive options in the grouping bars. If you want to try out the example used in this video, you can download it from the GitHub link in this video's description. I have also shared a link in the description where you can see if you are eligible to obtain a free license key to use our Angular suite through our community license. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe to our channel.